Hello and welcome back to ATRI My Dear Moments. Sorry it took me a while to actually get this out. Been quite busy. But without a moment to newt, let's begin. I just learned that spacebar apparently is to enter, so you won't see the mouse. I think she might be a robot. She's not human. She's just a robot in the shape of a human. Pretty cute robot. Humanoids. Robots intended to resemble humans as much as possible. I think it's pretty spot on. Also marketed as androids or gynoids. Genoids, depending on the manufacturer. Humanoids were produced en masse when humanity's technological progress was at its peak, and their construction was so advanced that they were indistinguishable from humans. They don't need to breathe, but their vocal systems are intended to replicate the human voice box. Naturally, that means they need a pair of lungs, or at least something resembling them, to hold air. I owe my life to that particular design quirk. Oh yeah, because I was drowning, right? Me neither. No, we're not selling her. I mean, look at her. Detroit becomes human flashbacks. Minamo looks back and forth between Catherine and the robot girl. Somehow I don't think she'd have the same kind of reaction if she was looking at any other piece of industrial and machinery. But to the untrained eye, this girl looks like a human being. Mm-hmm. Your master died a month ago. Oh. This town sunk in the rising seas 3 years ago. You've been asleep down there for all that time. The robot counts to 3 on her fingers. A look of realization dawns on her face. I'm not sure if that is the proper translation, but it's pretty funny. Okay, so it wasn't meant to be serious. Okay.
でも安心して、ばあさんの遺産はこいつが相続した。つまり、今のマスターはこの坊や。
The robot girl turns to me and peers closely to my face. Yeah, I'm supposed to be your master now. I'm excited. She speaks with a strange air of conviction. She tugs on my sleeve again. It looks like a kid who just found her dad. Oh. I wonder if a sufficiently advanced robot without a master experiences the same fears of a lost childhood. Oh. I think I would prefer the Nisama thing. Just call me Natsuki, okay? I abruptly cut her off before she can say something I really don't want to have in my head. Ikaruga Natsuki. That's my name. And what do I call you? She reaches behind her head to lift up her hair. Her serial number must be on the back of her neck. No, I'm asking if you have a name. I wouldn't be surprised if the old bag never gave her one. ATRI. That's a nice name. The words slip out of my mouth without thinking. Robots think of names in that way. I never considered that before. Thank you. Are you patronizing me? She looks up at me with a blank expression. It's probably my imagination, but there seems to be a glint of mischief in her young, delicate eyes. Then again, maybe it's just a reflection of the midday sun. I think back to the lights that I saw underwater. After staring at me for a while, ATRI suddenly smiles. It's a smile so soft and gentle that I have the sudden wish to capture this moment in the amber for eternity. Okay, pretty normal. I remember the first thing my grandmother said to me when I walked into her hospital room, propped up by a walking stick, dragging my ill-fitting prosthetic leg. Ooh. Rude. That's all. If I hadn't sold my cybernetic leg, I wouldn't have been able to pay my tuition fees. I didn't expect those words to hit me hard, but they did. To hear this selfish woman saying that something was her fault came straight out of the blue. Okay. She's the key. ATRI? I was surprised to hear someone as cantankerous as her would employ a maid. I don't really know what you want me to do, but I still can tell it's not something I can manage. I am a mess after all. Oh. When we reach the pier, Minimal hurriedly hops off the boat. I mean, we must have been like at least an hour and a half, so might as well skip, you know? Yeah.
私らも行こうか。
Where to?
街よ。そいつを売らなきゃいけないでしょ。どこで売るかはさておき、大体の値段だけ先に見積もっておきたいわ。
Not sure if I want to though. He hops down down from the ship too. I'm about to jump down myself when I feel ATRI staring up at me with a strange expression. He's been clinging to my sleeve this whole time. Nope, I've got this. I jump down from the swaying deck. I brace myself with the walking stick as I land, wobbling. Easy. I could manage that in my sleep. ATRI follows after me, hurriedly trotting up to me and grabbing onto my sleeve again. Let's go. We travel all the way into the center of the town. Long ago, the shopping street here was extremely lively. As times changed, it became nearly abandoned, but the economic shock caused by the Great Sea Rise led to it becoming a thriving hub of trade once again. Now it's a chaotic, bustling place, a black market full of stalls and vendors.
いいね。こういうゴミゴミした場所は好きよ。私みたいなのが紛れてても目立ちにくいからね。
Despite her assertion, this is still only a small town, so outsiders stick out like a sore thumb, Catherine and I included. Thanks to my hobbling gait, I can usually feel the stares on me wherever I go. There's something different today though. For once, all the eyes are on the person walking beside me. Her footsteps, light and pottering, have no trouble keeping up with my slow walk. The sound of bare feet on concrete is noticeably strange.
ねえ、あれなんとかならないの?
Catherine turns with a sigh and a frown. ATRI merely stares, still holding onto the hem of my sleeve. I can't recall if her feet were always bare, or if she just lost her shoes when we were underwater. I assume, since she's wearing clothes otherwise, it's the latter. What am I supposed to do? I don't exactly have a collection of small girl shoes I could just pull out my ass.
印象が悪い。旗から見ると人から見たいよ。
Let's go buy her shoes then. You're not helping that, you know. Catherine looks completely out of place here in this country. Backwater. I'm pretty sure Catherine isn't even her real name. She's very obviously completely Japanese, born and bred. Even though I've been working with her, I don't really know anything about her. ATRI looks around the stalls. You must know this place, right? You were my grandmother's maid. I suppose that's understandable. All of the flatland around here was inundated when the waters rose, separating it from the mainland, so it must have changed a lot. Once a coastal town, now this is an island. Suddenly being separated from civilization has caused a lot of problems. Transport, electricity, and communications on the island have been disconnected. This place wasn't anywhere near as busy when I lived here. It used to be a ghost town, and so peaceful. The road we took to get here has completely changed too. It's like the rising waters have washed away the old town in the same way. Even precious memories can be lost in a morass of fresh, pointless ones. Don't your feet hurt? She's a robot. Some models of humanoids are equipped with pain receptors. Oh. In order to make them as human-like as possible. Steps on the thumbtack. She shows me the bottom of her feet with a triumphant smile. Her dress kicks up, and I glimpse her bare legs beneath it. I know that they're not made of real skin, that they're not real legs, but their slim, gently curved silhouette looks so perfectly human. I can't take my eyes off them. It's nothing. I trudge my way through the crowds, propping myself up on my walking stick as I shuffle my creaking leg forward. The store Catherine is aiming for is off in the distance. Hey, can we take a detour? There's a place I want to stop by. It'll only be a minute. I turn off the main road and onto the back street. I stop in front of one particular stall. So, which do you want? ATRI tilts her head quizzically, still clenching my sleeve in her delicate fingers. It's a shoe store. Take your pick. Only from the ones on the shelf though. A bunch of particular cheap children's shoes are lined up. They're all I can afford with how little money I have. So it's lucky that they're the perfect size. Mm-hmm. Yep.
なるほどね。足が汚れてちゃ売り値が下がっちゃうものね。気が利くじゃないの坊や。
ATRI looks over the shoes, humming as she does.
早くしなさいよ。どれでも一緒でしょ？待ってください。判断基準が多数あって決めきれないのです。丈夫さはこれだし、見た目が整ってるのはこれで、お値段とのバランスが良さげなのは、めんどくさいわね。もうあんたが決めてあげなさいな。
I look around. I pick up some boots, heels, combat heels. Taken by surprise, I reach out and pick the first pair I see. I think these would suit you the best. Ooh. It's a pair of brown loafers, thankfully, cheap ones. After I pay, the stall owner politely wipes ATRI's feet and she puts them on. ATRI walks alongside me, deliberately kicking her feet up high with each step. She seems pretty happy with her bottom-of-the-barrel footwear. You really like those shoes that much? Not that she seemed to mind her being barefoot. Somehow, seeing her happy about them makes me particularly uncomfortable. No, it's fine. She exhales with a smile, oddly relieved. Is there some kind of rule about robot workers not being allowed to be happy or something? I studied robotics at the academy, but I don't know much about the programming of models as old as ATRI. ATRI. We soon reach the store Catherine was aiming for. It's a junk shop, with all manner of electronics and machinery lying around in ugly heaps. As I try to enter, I feel a tug at my sleeve. I turn around. ATRI has stopped walking. What's up? Yep. I'm taken aback. It's unusual for a robot to make a request of a human. There must be some particular reason for her to ask something like that. How long is a little while? 45 日。What do why do you want us to wait?
それは
ダメよ。何を言い出すかと思ったらダメに決まってんでしょうが。
Before ATRI can respond, Catherine butts in.
さあ、行くわよ。
She pulls ATRI by the hand into the store. I follow along behind, brow furrowed. The owner is visibly surprised to see ATRI.
この子ヒューマノイドかい？へえ、まだ残ってんだね。
都市でもそうそう見かけない上物よ。
Ah. The owner eyes Catherine suspiciously.
あんた、あれだろ。最近街に流れてきたっていうよそ者の。
Ooh.
悪いことは言わないから早いとこ出て行きな。ここは静かな街だ。あんたみたいなのは歓迎されない。
言われなくても仕事が片付いたら出ていくわよ。それでいくらになりそう？
売るのかい？この子を？
He glances ATRI up and down.
うちじゃとてもじゃないが買い取れないよ。
どうしてよ。
金がねえ。売るあてもねえし。でもまあ買い手を探してやることはできっかもな。ちょいと型番を見せておくれ。
She looks over at me as if requesting permission. I nod and she lifts up her hair. There, on the nape of her neck, is the number. The owner fetches a tattered, yellowing file from his desk, starts flickering through the pages.
山崎ファクトリー社製の第4世代型。初期不良が発覚してリコールされたモデルだね、こりゃ。
There's a bunch of bugs. Wait, hold up.
コンフィグレーションを変更、サウンドの設定ですよ。
So you're saying she's not worth anything?
いや、そんなはずないね。稼働するヒューマノイドよ。リコール品でもいいねがつくはず。
She's probably right. Most of the robot factories were destroyed by the sea rises, which led to most companies going bankrupt and a lot of industry secrets being lost. Their scarcity means ATRI could fetch dozens of times what my grandmother paid for her.
そうさな。
He starts tapping away at the calculator. I watch his fingers dance, tension growing in my chest. My ship wasn't the only thing I inherited from my grandmother. With it came a colossal debt. Even if I worked constantly for years and years, I'd struggle to pay it off. I found out about it when Catherine turned up at my door just after she died.
これが八千草博士の借用書。
Yeah, and? It's not like I can just go there, take more money than I have in the world, and wave you off. She responds to my exasperation with a cool stare.
でしょうね。正直あんたにそれは期待してないわ。かといって手ぶらじゃ帰れない。私だってプロですからね。
He leans in slightly towards me as if to emphasize her breasts. Okay.
協力しましょう。そうしたらお互いにいい思いができるから。八千草博士の遺産をサルベージしたいの。博士は高価な何かを倉庫にしまったまま海に沈めてしまった。それを引き上げて山分けしましょう。それで借金はチャラってことで。どうかしら、坊や。
Boya. And so, the mysterious Catherine and I started working together. I don't know how Catherine knew there was something in the storehouse, but she came to me with a plan to use my grandmother's submarine to salvage it. It was, in a very real way, like a drowning man finding a lifeboat. I have hardly any money at the best of times, and when I do, I have better things to spend it on than some old bag's debts. Like getting back to the things I've lost.
ところで、どこから連れてきたんだいこの子。
The owner peers over at me suspiciously. That's understandable, I suppose. Two strangers turn up out of nowhere with a humanoid in tow, looking to sell. It's natural to think they might have procured it through a typical means. She was in my grandmother's storehouse. We salvaged her from the bottom of the ocean.
そうなのかい？
Mm-hmm.
間違いありません。今朝そちらにいる夏希さんに海から引き上げてもらいました。
そうかい、よかったな。寒かったろう、海の底は。
寝てたので覚えてません。それで私は高く売却できそうですか？
そうさな。リコール品ってもこのくらいはつくかな。
How much? How much? He holds a calculator towards us. I can hardly parse the number on it. All I can tell that it would pay off my grandmother's debts with plenty left over for me.
勝った！人生の賭けに勝った！
She victoriously thrusts her fist in the air. All I can do is stand there, speechless.
なるほど。さすが高性能な私。ご満足いただけるプライスがついたのですね。
I don't know how I feel about this. Even though we're discussing selling her, she looks distinctly smug. She doesn't mind being sold off. I suppose she's a robot.
相手も探してやるよ。手数料はそうさね。5%で。
まあしょうがないわね。時間はどのくらいかかる？
年まで出向かなきゃならんし。まあ1ヶ月ちょっとあれば。
結構かかるわね。なるべく高く買ってくれる相手を見つけてよね。
もちろんさ。その方がうちも儲かる。なあ、あんたのマスターは誰だい？
こちらにいる夏希さんです。
I'm Natsuki.
そうかいそうかい。ヒューマノイドはマスターを間違えない。あんたがそうなんだな。
Yeah, it's me. Not that it really feels that way since we only just met.
じゃあ売りに行くときは同行してもらうよ。ヒューマノイドをマスターの許可なく売買するのは違法なんだ。
Understood.
私も行くからね。持ち逃げされちゃたまらないから。
Catherine's eyes are still sparkling.
ところで兄さん、あんたそれずいぶんと古いの使ってるね。
Thank you. He's right. My leg's so old and beaten up, it could be something. I found one of these. What's it? I can't fucking read. He's right. My leg's so old and beat up, it could be something I found on one of these junk heaps on sale here. I know.
サイボーグ義足の安いのが出回ってるんだ。金が入ったらうちで注文してくれよ。
He grins as he holds out a catalog of expensive-looking cybernetic limbs. Back in more prosperous times, even people with fully able bodies would get cybernetic implants to improve their strength to make certain jobs easier. That's freaking crazy. It's still pretty common among the rich nowadays. The catalog seems to be full of implants aimed at that market. I'll think about it. I mutter non-committedly and leave the store.
さーて、腹ごしらえでもするかね。朝からリンゴしか食べてないし。
I didn't even eat an apple. I'm even hungrier than her as a result. Well, that worked out well, didn't it? Hmm? He said it'd take at least a month. Just like Atari wanted, the sale's going to be put off for quite some time.
ありがとうございます。
I feel so bad. I feel so bad right off the bat. Why did you want me to wait? It's almost unheard for a robot to make demands or talk back to a human. They have to have a particularly pressing reason to do so.
私は眠りにつく前、マスターから命令を受けました。それを果たしてからにしてほしいんです。
An order? Robots have always been programmed to obey 3 laws. 1. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey the orders given to it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. Okay. 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. Okay. Alright. For most humanoids, their entire reason for existence is simply to obey those 3 laws.
夏希さんは足が必要なんですよね。
I sure would.
それまでの間、私が夏希さんの足になります。
Aww.
こんな立派な靴も買っていただきましたし。
I'm gonna call it right here. The shoes is going to be like a symbol for loss or something. It might be. Because there's so much like emphasis towards legs or, you know, limbs. So I'm calling it right here. She looks proudly down at her feet.
今使ってるその足より、きっと役に立ちますよ。
We become transformers. I'll pass. Thanks.
どうしてですか？私の方が高性能なのに。
I'm saying I don't need you. I'm fine by myself. Without realizing, I start to raise my voice. A real human girl would probably cower in fear after being shouted at like that. But Atari just looks confused, unsure how to react. Hey! You're getting some of the money here, okay? Shh! Catherine. Sorry.
ほいじゃあ、ジャンク屋が買い手を見つけるまで、この子は私が預かっておくわ。さあ、来なさい。
Catherine grabs hold of Atari's hand. Atari looks over me with a pleading gaze. I will take care of Atari, you know? I raised my voice. I'm gonna take responsibility. Hang on a second, I'll take care of her.
夏希さん。
はあ？
Hey!
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。あんたがこいつを連れて逃げないって保証どこにあるのよ。
I could say the same for you. Okay.
私が連れてでもマスターのあんたがいなきゃどうにもできないんだから。一緒じゃないでしょ。
Okay. Good point. I've got no reason to oppose her taking Atari, I suppose. If anything, it'll be a weight off my shoulders. No! Come on!
また連絡するわ。ああ、お腹すいた。何食べよっかな。
A satisfied Catherine trots off with Atari trudging after her. Idiot. She looks back at me with a melancholic gaze, but says nothing. Robots are made to obey after all. Especially if it's an order from their master. Don't give me that look. What else can I look? Watching them walk off, I start to hobble my own way down the road. The skies grow dark as I sit boring a hole into a wall with my eyes. Okay. Soft classical music lilts through the room from the radio. The sound, however, is interrupted constantly by static. The ship's lights are flickering, unsettling too. The town itself has no electricity. The only power I have is the wind turbine. It's small and barely able to keep the lights and the radio on, but it's enough. While on a still windless night like this, I'm constantly plunged into darkness. I can feel the night approaching. A creeping dread like tendrils winding around my legs. I suppose I'll try to get some sleep. I should get into bed while there's still some light left. I mean, you could just go to bed without the lights, you know? But try as I might, sleep will not come. My stomach's so empty that the pangs of hunger rack my entire body. I'll be able to afford a new leg soon. If I could just manage that, I can start to rebuild my life too. And I'm going to sell that girl to do that. Salvage my grandmother's inheritance and sell it. That was the deal. That's all. Why should I feel guilty about something like that? She might look human, like a human girl, but she's just a robot. She was even proud about fetching at such a high price. This is fine, right?
それまでの間、私が夏希さんの足になります。
All right. I think that's a good place to end that. Yeah, actually. That's a good place to end that. How do I save again?
セーブは大事です。
Yes. Overwrite it. Alright.
タイトルに戻っちゃっていいですか？
Alright, let's keep the cliffhangers going, you know? So far, at least we have a secure way of selling her, you know, so I could quote unquote rebuild my life, start off with my leg. But you know, let's see how it goes. Once again, I'm calling the shoe thing as like a symbolism, foreshadowing for something like catastrophic in the future. And with that said, this was episode 2 of ATRI My Dear Moments. And stay newty.
今日はもうおしまいですか？